So let's say, for example, that you're really passionate about dental hygiene in third world countries. You think that the solution to the problem of improving the hygiene is to donate as many toothbrushes as possible to developing countries. Cool. Okay. Now, the obvious thing to do would be to start a toothbrush company, right? You could either start a toothbrush company that sells toothbrushes really cheap to people in developing countries, or a toothbrush company somewhere else that gives away a lot of toothbrushes, buy one, one's donated type thing. Now, here's why this is the wrong approach. The reality of it is you need to start literally any company, doesn't matter what it is, that makes a ton of money so that you can buy as many toothbrushes as possible and then donate them to the third world country. This misconception really illustrates, this example really illustrates the misconception that a lot of trainers have, that a lot of trainers fall prey to, and why they say that a lot of people can't afford their services. A lot of trainers are trying to sell their services to the people who can't afford them. Well, instead of telling you how to sell better, right, instead of telling you how to just find rich people to train, I'm going to take a bit of a different approach. I'm going to say, don't try to sell people who can't afford your training. If there is a population that you really want to work with that can't afford your training, well, figure out a way to serve them almost as a volunteer or at a really low price. Don't feel like you need to make all of your money or the majority of your money from the people that you ultimately want to serve. And I'm going to give you two examples to illustrate this. The first one is Ben Mudge. He's in Northern Ireland. Ben has cystic fibrosis, a chronic illness. He's had it since birth, and it's something that he's been suffering with. Now, a lot of people who have chronic illnesses, chronic diseases, well, money's a big issue for them. Treatments are super expensive. It's really crappy. So Ben really wants to support the cystic fibrosis community. He tried to build a low-end membership site, tried to train them last night. He was like, well, can't really do this because I feel like I'm spreading myself too thin and I'm not making enough money. Working with us in the Online Trainer Academy, we helped Ben build something called the Athletic Muscle Blueprint, which was a high-ticket program, which he sold to 25 to 30 people at a time, made more than enough money to cover all of his needs, actually do really well. I think it was doing 30 or 40,000 pound launches. And as a result now, he has 50% of his time left. And how cool is this? Now we can serve the cystic fibrosis community with all of the time that he has left, right? He didn't have to make his money from the cystic fibrosis community in order to serve the cystic fibrosis community. Cool. So the second example is Frank Benedetto. He's from New Jersey now. Frank trains fighters, mixed martial artists. Okay, he's got a good reputation with them. The problem with training mixed martial artists is that aside from the top 5 or 10 of them, most of these guys can't even afford to eat, let alone pay for a trainer. So what we did with Frank, he basically said to him, okay, well, you're not going to make your money from these fighters, but you can gain a really good reputation with them, which is what he did. Frank has a great reputation for getting these people great results, for getting them ready for their fight. So he has two programs now. His first program helps these fighters prepare for their fights, right? That's something that he doesn't do a lot of himself. He has his team done. He's operationalized to a great extent. His second program is called Train Like a Fighter. Check this out. This is the really cool part. So there's a lot of people who are really obsessed with the fighting community that actually aren't fighters, but they make a lot of money. Think investment banker types, alpha types, right? People who love fighting that want to train like a fighter that can afford to pay a lot of money. So what does Frank do? Well, he starts a high-ticket program focusing on these people who can afford to pay a lot of money, right? And he builds his brand with the fighters. Isn't that brilliant? So this is the idea, guys. If you are worried that your people can't afford your training, well, they might not be able to afford your training. The solution isn't in trying to trick them how to do it, and it doesn't mean that you can't serve them. What it does mean, though, is that you need to figure out a bit more creative solution in order to find people who can afford your training, and there's a lot of ways to do that. So, hope this video helped you. Talk soon.